Hello Ray class, this is that E guy here with a guide to 3.16 Frostblade Spectral Helix Raider. It has been a long time since my last video, and I hope everyone's been doing well this past year. So a lot of people are currently playing Spectral Helix as the main attack skill, and for bosses, the single target can be so high that the bosses are permanently frozen. And while it is a very good skill, it does tremendous amount of damage, there is a downside. The skill requires a wind-up time. As the blade travels out from the character model, the enemies will have a chance to attack and possibly kill your character. So to supplement this, I use Frostblade as the clear skill. This is a skill that clears the screen very well. It blows through multiple packs at once, and it can be very powerful and effective on the 4-link or 5-link. For the purpose of this build, I did not go ultra in-game budget. I did not put in any unrealistically strong items in the path of building because you do not need such items to clear the entire game. For this build, I have included a path of building with multiple trees and multiple gear options. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask in the comments below. So we take Alira as our bandit, Soul of the Brine King, Soul of Rislatha, and we're going to use Spectral Helix and Frostblade for single target and clearing respectively. Down here you can select the tree that you want. If you're starting out, you can use the level up tree to tell you what nodes to take up all the way till level 50. And then at that point, you can go and work towards, say, the claw build non-cluster. And this build will carry you all the way to the end game, even with semi-budget gear and no cluster jewels. So as we go over the gear, keep in mind this is not a super expensive build by any means, but you can scale it well into the end game by using clusters, by switching to sword with Paradoxica, or just by having a really good claw. So right now, this claw is probably one of the most expensive items. It has crit chance, it has attack speed, and that's the most important part. And everything else is optional. With more budget, you can craft attack this weapon penetrate elemental resistance as a prefix, and they will do more damage than this claw, but this is what I ran with as the budget option. For the shield, ideally you want something with high evasion and life and block chance, and everything else is kind of optional. Having life, block chance, and evasion will be make it a good shield for you. I bought this relatively early on with the damage per chance to block, life on block, and chance to block. And I crafted life on it, and it lasted me for a long time. But this shield provides me with almost no evasion. So the mitigation, you can do a lot better when you purchase or craft your own shield. For the helmet, I went with Star Conjas. You could also go for a helmet with a lot of life and resist. And for the armor, you could start out, you can use Tabula Rasa, and eventually when you have the budget, you can move on to chests with attack have +% chance to critical strike, and you know, having evasion is also good. I just grabbed something like this, crafted life on it, and yeah, managed to use the new Scourge to 6-link kit. So having any 6-link works as long as it has the right colors. For the dagger build, you will want 3 green sockets because you will want Nightblade. So if you have the budget, for each of these items, I also included, you can drop down and see a more expensive option that you like if you want to go and eventually min-max the build. So you can go chest here, and you can get something like this, which will be very, very strong, much stronger in fact, and that's just something to consider. And for the gloves, right now I have a okay. Actually, in fact, this is kind of terrible pair of gloves. Corrupted with +1 maximum frenzy. But of course, if you can get something better with frenzy charge on it, it will be much better. And if you don't want to go frenzy, or if you want to just have more reliable frenzy, you have the budget, you can craft something like this, and this will drastically boost your damage. You will have attack speed and everything. So that's the endgame option. For the boots, you can go for Dark Ray Vector. It costs almost nothing and it'll last you quite a while. But if you have the budget, you could get Tailwing boots with life, and it would just, a combination of all these upgrades will make the build much tankier. For the Amulet, I grabbed a very cheap Talisman with crit multi as the implicit, and yeah, it's just very standard. This is very cheap to get, and for a more perfect, more expensive option, you can get something like this, and this is just gonna be a huge DPS boost if you're able to get it. For rings, I went with elemental weakness on hit ring. As you can see, the rolls are pretty bad, but yeah, and this one as well. This is completely scuffed. And of course, once again, I included a better option. So all these in-game gears you see are actually tried and tested by my friend Kosher Baked. And yeah, these if you were to get them, will increase the power of a build tremendously. That's just something for reference. So for the belt, you want some resist, life to round out a build. If you can get elemental damage with attacks, that's good. But if not, it's still okay. In game wise, you want life, resist, and maybe a main stat. And if you can get damage with attacks, that's even better. And for Flask, pretty standard setup. You will want Enduring Eternal Flask to give you mana for a long time. So it doesn't stop the moment you have full mana. This will make the gameplay much smoother. So J Flask for the evasion, Diamond Flask for the crit, Rock Gut, because you always have in frenzy charges, the onslaught will last for quite a long time. And then the jewels, pretty standard. You can eventually go for better abyssal jewels as a replacement. Everything should be in the path of building, and you can just ask if you have any confusions down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching once again, and please take care of yourself.